All right, 3, 2. Hey guys, welcome to episode 170 of the League of Legends Anonymous podcast. I am your host Sam, aka Just Casual, here with my replacement host every now and then, who did an awesome job last episode, Alex, aka Wormlex.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back. I had a fun time hosting. It was rough, but I appreciate the praise, even if it's not totally deserved.
It was probably still better than my old episodes slash even when I should be a seasoned veteran. I think you did an amazing job, so don't worry about it. And the guys just had to give you a hard time, even if you like hosted perfectly. I know they would have given you crap like the whole time.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just happy that no one was eating while I was doing my host, so I can see how that would be harder to deal with.
Yeah, only just like some like nasty coughs from Blake, you know. That's all.
Yep.
Well, actually, it wasn't that bad last week. I think he just started off with a cough, and then he was pretty much good. But anyways, let's jump into it. We have an exciting topic. I'm really, really excited to talk about this one. It is common misconceptions in League of Legends. So basically, the guys, we came together during our team meeting trying to brainstorm some ideas for future podcast episodes. So we put it out on our Facebook group, which you guys should definitely be joining, especially if you want to give input to the shows or ask questions that you want answered on the show, or just have like really good conversation with a pretty small, like smaller version of this community. Go to our Facebook group. Episodes in the link, or the link is in the episode description.
Words are so
anyway,
hard.
Yeah, I know. Now you understand. You understand me more. I love this. But yeah, we wanted to talk about things that people, including yourself, might think are true, and we want to talk about some of the truth behind it and also the misconceptions behind those seemingly true statements. So the first one we have here is from Greg. Again, these are all from our Facebook group. He said, "Don't play Lee Sin or mechanically intense champions, period. Play what you want. In my opinion, you're just going to be a little late to the party." So where do you think this is coming from, Alec?
I mean, there is a lot of pro players out there who just advocate, like, if you're below gold, even if you're below plat, like, don't be playing mechanically hard champions. Just play, face roll champions that you don't have to think too much about. Mm-hmm. And this one's kind of like, I don't like the idea of saying don't play just play like certain champions, because at the end of the day, this is a game. Like, play what you have fun with. But then also I would say, if someone came to me and they're like, man, I just really want to climb. All I want to do this season is climb. I don't care who I'm playing. I want to climb. Then I would say, yes, take out those mechanically hard champions and just try some easier stuff, because at the end of the day, the less you're thinking about in game about your champion, the easier it's going to be to get better at the harder things that other people don't have down, like the macro plays. And if all you have to think about is kind of just smashing your keyboard whenever you get into a fight, you can more deal with like everything else around the map.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, so what happens is that you do have players that are mechanically really, really gifted, right? Mm-hmm. They could be stuck in bronze, but if you're able to play like Zed, like well, then you are going to smash face. Because what ends up happening is the way that Riot balances or tries to balance champions is that the harder they are to play, the more powerful they will be if you hit everything.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's where the balance comes from. If you pick an easy champion to play that has like no skill shots, well, that damage has to be a little less than other champions that have to have really difficult skill shots. For example, like Urgot ult. It's not the hardest skill shot to hit, but it's not the easiest one either. And that can kill someone. But if you miss it, that's an ult timer. It's like one and done, right? Or if you shoot it early, it doesn't really do much. So there's some give and take there. So I definitely think that if you are mechanically very, very good, yeah, go ahead and play Lee Sin or Zed. But if you're not climbing with those champions, one, you might not have played enough games. Two, you might not actually be good at the champion. You think you are? Like, you're like, I'm killing so many people, but I'm 11 and 12. Like, that doesn't really mean that much, Yeah. And the other thing is then you're lacking macro. you're heavily lacking macro, and you're not carrying hard with that champion.
Yeah, it. I think this is one that like there's no clear cut like this is the data, this is the answer. This is an opinion based misconception. Like you don't have to play what you don't want to play. You can play whatever you want, but at the end of the day, what do you want on a League of Legends? Do you want a fun night of trying to hit that one Lee Sin kick? Like go for that.
Mhm.
Do you want to hit platinum for the first time? Spam Renekton like I did, who's really easy to play, and work on the other parts of your game and start to climb. Like
Yeah.
it's up to you to make that decision. And like if you look at my champion like mastery and stuff like that, like right behind Renekton is Thresh, Lee Sin, Ezreal, all these like really intensive like skill shot champions who I love to play. But when it came down to ranked, I just grinded out Renekton because he was a decent like champion at the time in the meta, and he's not insanely hard to play. I don't rely on having that one mechanical play each game. It's like I either crush my lane and bring that to other lanes, or I don't.
Yeah. And like this is also what I think about when it comes to when you're playing a highly mechanical champion, right? We said that to do the same thing as a low skill cap champion, you need to do more. You need to perform a lot better. So when I think about this, if I'm playing Lee Sin going into team fight, they have a Fed Jinx and I have to get to her. How do I get to her? Well, I have to dodge all their CC, watch like really important cooldowns, and then I have to flank and take out vision, and then I have to ward hop somewhere in there over a wall. Then I have to hit my Q. Then I have to follow that Q, and then alt flash, and then that's how I get the Jinx out of position, right?
Yeah.
Now let's say if I'm playing Blitzcrank, yeah, there are a lot of tanks in the way, but if I get a really good flash hook, like I got the Jinx.
Yep.
So now when I'm trying to watch like 9 other players on the map and where they're moving, and then worried about the minion wave that's crashing on our inhibitor right now when this like it's in a time crunch, and my team are a whole bunch of bonobos, and I don't know if they're gonna actually follow up on this Jinx or whatever, or I don't know if they actually see me. Like there's so much to think about when I could either think about how do I do these 5 steps as Lee Sin and mechanically do them all correctly,
Yeah.
or this 1 or 2 things about Blitzcrank and getting a nice flash hook, which isn't the easiest thing to do, but it's a ton easier to do than the Lee Sin play, right?
Yeah, the other thing about that on the team side of it, I've had it where like I'm Lee Sin, I like see this crazy opening. I'm like, oh, I can go for a kick here, and I like ward hop, Q, like flash, kick the ADC, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I got that kickoff. And you look back and like your team's backing up, and they're nowhere near that kill. And they for them, it's like we had no idea Lee Sin was going to be able to get that deep and get that kickoff. Like we weren't ready to engage. Where it's like you see your Blitzcrank flash Q, it's like, oh crap, he's going for a grab. We should follow up on this.
Yeah, right. A Malphite engagement, everyone sees that at least, versus like a Lee Sin sneaking into the backside doing something crazy. Yeah, so I mean, it's just huge. If you like have really good macro understanding and you're able to like do all this mechanical stuff without having to worry too much about the macro and like perform, then yeah, Lee Sin is a really great champion to just snowball the game. I think there's some better champions actually to pick than Lee Sin that are mechanically like decent, like
Zinzao is really good.
Yeah, but he's not that mechanically intensive, right?
Yeah.
Because
I meant
Lee Sin
more
does
for just
fall
like
off, but
snowballing well, and you don't have to think about. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You're absolutely right. Good example for that one. So like there is, like Alex said, there is a lot of like back and forth about like this is based on opinions and goals, right? We mentioned that if you just want to climb and you want the fastest way to climb, then yeah, pick an easy champion and do it well, because there's so many things to work on that if you don't have to worry about the mechanics of it, then you're making it that much easier for you. If you play one champion, learn all their matchups in lane, then you don't have to worry about 5 champions and all their matchups in lanes, right? And over 5 different roles and all this. Like there's just so much about this game to be thinking about. If you really want to climb, just do the easy thing.
Yep.
In normals, I have mastery 6 on Lee Sin, and this is so stupid because it's so random, but I played him like a few times, and every time I play him in ranked, I lose. I don't know why I keep bringing him out every now and then. But I play him a lot in normals because he's just fun to play. But
Yeah.
I know that I probably won't win the game, and that's perfectly fine. Don't get
Yeah.
upset about normal games. They're there really for practice for the most part. I guess it depends on what your opinions are on that, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm. There's always like an alternative champion to the fun one you want to play, and hopefully winning is fun
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Like let me think. Thresh, like the alternative to Thresh is either like a Leona or a Blitz.
Mhm.
Yes, Thresh brings more to a team fight, but it's a lot harder to do all that stuff than a Blitz or a Leona.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I've said it already, but I definitely just like reiterate like at the end of the day, this is a game. Like if you're forcing
Yeah.
yourself to play a champion and you're like not having fun with it because that's what people have said you should play, like don't do that. Play what you want. Like have fun with it.
Yeah, you're most likely going to perform better too if you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I remember when I used to play it back in a long time ago, Modern Warfare 2 days. I remember for the longest time I was trying so hard to get a nuke, and I could not get one. And then I had this game where I just said screw it, and I used like a really shitty gun, and I was just running around, not even trying at all. And I was like, oh shit, I'm actually on a 7 kill streak right now. Like I got 1 kill, it snowballed, and I ended up getting the nuke that game. And it was
That's
like
so funny.
because I was so carefree about it. Like I just, it just, I was having fun with the game. I didn't even think about it. It just happened. And I think that when you get that like really try hard mindset, like sometimes it just screws you over. You just don't. I don't know what it is about it. It's like just one of those like placebo effects that makes you not do as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It was funny now that you mentioned that. I've been playing a lot of games with the community like in the early afternoons just because like now with my work schedule I can do that. And I was playing with JKaz, who's one of the funniest guys to play with because he's super troll and he tilts me, but at the same time it's really, really fun to play with him. I was playing Lee Sin and he just kept yelling insect with everything that was going on, like, oh, insect that person, and like it was like someone playing Jinx, like, oh, look at that Jinx insect. That was amazing. Like it was really funny. But I actually hit a lot of good like Lee Sin plays in that game, and that's because I think just the atmosphere was just fun, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I didn't care about failure, and I wasn't like nervous about things, so I was just like doing stupid things. I think I died a lot,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like
Yeah.
I was making some good plays and getting like had some good highlights just because I was in a good mood about it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. Should we move on to the next one?
I think we've beat this one to death.
All right. The next one is from Randall. He says his misconception that he says his holy crap.
Words are so hard today.
Low elo games are won. Actually, I would even just say games are won or lost in the first 20 minutes. What do you think about this one?
Myth. I think that especially in low elo, games are always open to win. There's always a potential for throw, and it can depend on how your playstyle is, but there's always a chance to win. There's always going to be that one fight at the end of the game that could go either way. Well, there's not always going to be that one fight at the end of the game, but there's very likely going to be a moment where one team gets too cocky or something happens that opens up an opportunity. They're always there, no matter how far you get into a game. And it might get harder and like to find that opportunity, but it's always there.
Yeah.
I like back in was it was the playoffs for the Korean League this year. SKT was down like 10k gold, and Faker hit an insane shockwave in a team fight. They had 0 kills at this point, 0 to 8 kills. They hit an insane shockwave. They aced the team. They got a ton of objectives off that initial ace, and then they end up winning the game later. This is a pro team that's down 10k gold, like 30 to 40 minutes into the game, and they were able to beat another pro team well enough in a late game fight that they got the win in the end. Like, pro teams don't give those kind of opportunities very often. So if a pro game can be decided that late into the game with someone that far behind, you never are out. You're always going to have a chance.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I hate when I see surrender votes come up at 15 or 20 minutes, especially in a ranked game where like for the most part everyone is probably trying a little harder than usual, right?
Yeah.
Because uh, well, unless those guys just surrender and never have seen comebacks, like comebacks are so easy to come by in low elo. Like
Yeah. They're so
unless
satisfying too.
yeah, unless you're coming out of laning phase after like 14 minutes down like 20-0, uh every game is really winnable. And this is the thing, like I'm a person that when I used to play AD carry, I played Ashe, right? And Ashe is not known for or wasn't known for her early game. She at 6 item build, she was like really terrifying at the time. So
Mhm.
I knew that my strength as an AD carry was that I would never over aggressively position and I always built to kill tanks. So as long as I just lasted long enough in a team fight, I would
Mhm.
kill everyone from to back.
Yep.
So what happened was I was bad at AD carry. I was poor mechanics, couldn't CS well. But the thing that happens is that no matter how far we got behind, the enemy team would do something stupid and do plenty of things stupid, right?
Yep.
What does a gold lead matter on a Xerath that cannot hit any of his skill shots? It means
Yep.
absolutely nothing, right?
Mhm.
What happens when the Katarina is 15-0 and everyone else on our team has like 1 or 2 kills and that Katarina gets CC chained? Like game is over. It doesn't matter how far behind you are
Yeah.
realistically. And like I throw, they will throw too. And if you are just one person on your team that is gonna play safe and not make a throw, that means there's 5 other people on the enemy team that could potentially throw the game. And then when they go for Barons or when they decide like I'm a strong vet, I'm gonna try to turret dive you 2 turrets in
Yeah.
against a 0-8 like Jinx. Like who cares if he even gets that kill and trades it? Like he was 10-0, now he's 10-1, and he just lost like 50% of the team's gold right
Yeah.
there. There's so many things that can go wrong that will go wrong if you just wait patiently.
Yeah. Another a way you can kind of debunk this misconception for yourself. If you want a little shout out to the YouTube channel, if you go and watch one of our
Oh.
community games that we've played, take a look at the gold leads that are going on. Take a look at the kills. I think, and even maybe do this with your own games in spectator mode after. I think people would be surprised how close the gold is, even with kill deficits. Kills,
Yeah.
like that's something I learned a lot from watching pro games and just doing a lot of like spectating and stuff like that. Like you start to realize, like, wow, kills don't really push the gold lead that much. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
have a 10-0 early game and still not be that far down in gold if you haven't given up too many objectives. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, it's going to make it harder to not give up those objectives and give up that gold. It is going to be harder. But
Mm-hmm.
I think people really overestimate how far behind they are because it feels so oppressive when you are behind.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel good just staying under a turret.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I would say, like, we're talking we talked a little bit you said like in ranked games and stuff like that. Like if you're talking about the difference between normal and ranked games, I will give the people the benefit of the doubt for surrendering in a normal game. Sometimes it's like the
Yeah.
only way we're going to win this game is if it goes to like 45 to 50 minutes. Let's call this one a day and move on to the next one, you know. So
Yeah.
I think it's okay in normal games to call it a day sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be a really hard game,
Yeah.
but I think the same thing as the last misconception we talked about. If you really want to climb, like hold out, like don't hit that yes to surrender. Never, no matter what the
And
score is.
and I want to talk about that too. Like if you are climbing and if you're trying to really make the most out of every game, because yeah, every game is important, especially when you are like short on time and you don't get to play much and stuff like that. If you learn how to play behind, or if you learn and see these things like, wow, yeah, these stupid assassins turret dive way too hard sometimes, or you learn how to play against it, or just see what people's tendencies are when they're ahead and how they throw. Example, Baron. Baron is like the biggest place or when people are trying
Yeah.
to get a water drake for no reason, like those are where people throw. And when you realize that, you learn how to win games that seem lost. And that's valuable information because, hello, you're going to lose like roughly 50% of your games. Now,
Yep.
if you're able to learn something from those lost games, you know what? Maybe you'll start winning 10% of those supposedly lost games. And that's a big deal. That could be like your promotion, right? That could be your promo game.
Yeah.
And I think when people give up too early, they never get a chance to learn how to play a Caitlyn that's 0-3 rather than a Caitlyn that's 5-0. Like, yes,
Right.
playing Caitlyn 5-0 is super easy. You auto attack and don't care about anything. But if you're behind, it's like, oh, I can use my traps this way, or like I learn how to do. You can learn something from lost games. So just go into a mindset that I'm going to learn something even though I lose this game. Or, you know, something that I've done is like, I'm super behind on Annie and we're going to lose this game. And everyone's tilted and I don't really care about winning this game anymore because I think it's long gone because my teammates just gave up. I'm just going to be like, I'm going to figure out a way to be able to ult that Jinx every single fight. I don't care if I die, but I'm going to figure out a way. And I'm like, oh, you know, I didn't realize I could flash over this wall. Or like, oh, if I built, what is the Hextech? The Proto Belt. It's like, oh, I built this and it's actually decent on Annie. I didn't realize it was a good item on her. Like, you get to make use of that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I feel like this is just a whole bunch of ranting. It's kind of fun.
That's kind of what misconceptions are, though, right? Because you feel like people have this opinion about certain things and you want to try to sway them, so you feel really strongly about it. And it's like, the other thing, if we ever like seem heated at this kind of stuff, it's like, that's just because, you know, especially with playing League for, it's been like, what, 4 years for me now, and probably longer for you, like 5 to 6 years.
About 7.
Yeah. When you keep hearing people say this type of stuff, when they keep pushing it, and like they're still complaining about the same things in game, and like it gets tedious. You're like, dude, this is like, this game has been out for this long. Like, if you really are hard on yourself play wise and how you perceive the game, like a lot of times after, like, I realized while I was trying to like learn and really be critical of myself, I would complain about something right off the bat after dying and then be like, well, you know, I kind of thought about that beforehand, that might happen. Like, like maybe you're like, oh, I think I might get ganked here. I'm just gonna keep pushing, and then you end up getting ganked, and you're like, oh, that's so dumb that the jungler was up here, and then it's like, well, I kind of thought about that beforehand. Maybe I should have listened to myself.
No, yeah, I know exactly what you. And you know, I definitely don't want us to come off as like, we know the answers, we are holier than thou. Like, no, the reason why we talk so passionate about this is because we've been through it, right?
Yeah.
It's not something that we're just complaining about. It's like, I totally get it. Like, for that first question, like playing boring champions versus like fun champions, I'm generalizing a lot, but like, yeah, it does suck. I do want to play Lee Sin and I want to build him full damage assassin Lee Sin in a rank game. And like, yeah, it sucks that I have to play Sin Zhao to keep climbing. But to be honest, if I want to play Lee Sin, then yeah, if I really just want to play Lee Sin, then I'll be happily the best gold 5 Lee Sin ever. You know, like that's just what's going to happen. I don't want to be a gold 5. So I have to just suck it up and play Sin Zhao, Rammus, and Shyvana or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say with this question, though, that I think is true. A game can be lost in the first, or won in the first 20 minutes if a whole team is tilted. Because untilting people in solo queue is really pretty much impossible. Yeah. You can untilt people if for the next 20 minutes you're making a comeback for the next 20 minutes. Like, it doesn't take like one fight. It takes like a continuous like visual improvement to untilt some people. And this is also for the enemy team too. If the enemy enemy Yasuo top lane goes 0-4 and is complaining about getting camped, I'm going to continue camping him because he's going to bring down his whole team. And it feels so good.
Yeah, mindset is huge. When that 180 carry who's just been constantly getting one shot by an assassin complains about getting one shot by an assassin, you better damn well be sure that assassin's going right back to wherever they're farming and one-shotting them again.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that 80 carry can put up the surrender vote and not even realize that their team is up like 20-10 in kills.
Yeah.
and they're 10 of their kills. You're just like, this game is hopeless. And that's why, like, don't put negativity towards your team, any sorts of negativity, because you're going to tilt someone or you're going to perpetuate the tilt when people are trying hard. And that just,
I will admit
Yeah.
that my reaction to hit /FF is way too fast for my own good, and I will throw it out in tilting situations when our team is ahead, and everybody's like, "What the fuck? Who wants to surrender?" And I'm like, "It's like the rage quit in Call of Duty days. It was like just muscle memory that I would do it as soon as something stupid happens, and now it's like with League of Legends, it's like Shift FF. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay, I don't actually want to FF this game. That was just a bad play. I'm sorry.
I was trying to type GG because we're winning.
Yes.
F and G are right next to each other, or I try to flash and
Yeah.
I hit the slash button. This is weird.
Yeah. It's funny how GG, something that's supposed to be good mannered, becomes bad mannered when you say it too early in a game. It goes from good game, guys, to good game. This is over.
Yeah. That is really funny. Cool. All right. Third one that we have that we're going to be talking about today is from Morris. He says, leaving turret up to deny CS to your opponent. So, first I want to talk about, because you brought this up to me before the episode, like why this is actually a good thing.
Yeah. And
because I think this is something that first of all, okay, sorry, before you go on, this is a concept that I think has existed in the past and over the seasons and changes of I'm not sure if it's a change of metas or if it's just a better understanding of strategy, or probably a combination of a lot of different things.
First turret gold is a big thing.
Yeah, first turret gold. This has been true and is pretty much deemed not true anymore. Mm-hmm. At least to me, this hasn't been a common misconception, but it might be. But I do want to talk about then first why this would be a thing that you would want to do.
So the point that someone would say, oh, you should leave this turret up to deny CS to your opponent. So part of that is obviously a turret kills CS a lot faster. So you leave the turret up, the CS dies while your laner is dead, and you get your back timing and you go back and buy, and then you come back to lane. But a big reason that leaving a turret up can be helpful is if you're just like smashing a lane to a point, like you're playing like a Riven into Gangplank is a good example, because when Riven gets ahead of Gangplank, because of his low like mobility once she gets on top of him, you can kill Gangplanks over and over again. I've done it multiple times, and if you get strong enough, you're running behind their turret and proxying their wave and keeping them at their second turret. Mm-hmm. And this is like one example of like, if I really think I can hold this person down who's like a late game monster, that I can take them, like make that late game even farther than, it goes from 30 minutes to 40 minutes, they would be useful. I might leave that turret up and just kill them constantly. Because the other thing is, it puts, like we were talking about with the camping the 0-5 Yasuo, you know how tilting it is that you can't even get to your turret to go farm when you sit in between two turrets to wait while the Riven just continually farms free wave after free wave. There's people don't come back from that mentally. Like they get, like that just kill. You're not playing the game anymore. You're just standing there watching someone else play the game.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that leads into people don't understand that they have to just stand there and watch the game. They're like, oh, I can sneak into my turret at this point, and then you end up killing them again. And like at this point, you're just getting so strong. And most likely, if you're this strong, like you don't really have to worry too much about the other sides of the map. If your other side of the maps are really struggling, take that turret, leave lane, go help other lanes. Yeah. That would be what I would say. But if your other laners are doing well, you're not worried about another team like taking the first turret really fast, like keep it up and just keep that laner coming right back to your lane. Because once you destroy that first turret, it gives them that long lane that it's harder for you to keep killing them. They're just going to keep running back to that second tower and wait for the farm to get there.
Yeah. I definitely think that's a good point. Like, if you're playing like someone that's a really good team fighter, like if you're playing Maokai and you're the only tank on the team, like, yeah, how important is it to set that Yasuo back a little more versus like going in team fighting because you are the tank and CC and soak up damage to control all the objectives. But if let's say you're like the person that if you're a Heimerdinger, like who cares? Just stay up top and do your thing. Or if you're a duelist like Fiora who doesn't necessarily team fight like super well, or like you said, a Riven, yeah, just stay there and smash your lane. You are giving it like that gangplank will be worth no gold.
Yeah.
So you're not getting gold from that, but you are bringing power to your team in a different way than just gold. You know, you're denying a person help. Like, for example, if that was a Maokai, right? Who cares if the Maokai is behind 2 levels from you? If he goes to team fight, he can make that game winning like root.
Yeah.
Like flash W, like congratulations. He got instantly bursted, but he was able to put down his root to catch your Fed 80 carry and put down his ult to catch like a few more. Like that is scary, right? And but if you're denying like a carry on the other team, like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Absolutely big deal. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That was
the other
that
one
was legit, man.
The other one that on the other side of the map that I would talk about is as a bot lane. If you have like a really aggressive support like Blitzcrank or Thresh, and you're playing against like a Nami or Soraka, someone who has very little escape, my friend and I who play bot lane a lot, when we have really smashed lane, we're like, oh, let's leave this turret up right now. So their support keeps having to come in lane. I've had level 2 and 3 Sorakas while me and my teammate are level 5 and 6 because
oh my God.
every time they come back to lane, they're getting hooked or something.
And that's so sad.
If we take the turret and we start roaming around, you know, they get some farm, they help with roams, you know, maybe they actually have a little effectiveness with going around. But if they are in threat of dying every single time they walk to that lane, maybe leave that turret up, maybe punish them. Maybe punish them a lot.
Maybe you even bait the enemy jungler to try to help and fight, and then they die, and then they get tilted and yell at the Soraka too.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny.
But these
you're so mean.
Yeah, these are very extreme cases. But I definitely, especially with the Klepto Ezreal meta that was just before they nerfed him, he's still strong, but he was absurdly strong this last patch, and we would win almost every lane with Thresh Ezreal, and it got like some lanes it just snowballs out of control. You're getting so much gold on Ezreal. If Thresh is hitting a hook on a like Nami or Soraka, like they're just dead. They can't do anything about it.
Oh, that's so sad. That makes me sad just because I've been in that situation. So it definitely does not feel good. When I finally I was like, oh crap, I gave Draven double kill and he got double buff from my jungler, and now I'm going to lane at level 2 and he's level 4. It's like,
and think about that feeling and how you felt playing that. Like they don't, if you're like really wanting to win that game, like you've won it for your team basically. If that support doesn't want to play that game anymore, they're not playing at their full potential. They're not really doing everything they could to help out the team if they do not want to be in that game anymore.
It's very, very, very painful. All right. Maybe we should just continue going down this list.
Yeah.
Should we do that?
To close out that though, in most cases, first turret gold is a lot of gold for your team. Take that first turret. Most cases.
Oh yeah. We didn't really talk about this. So then, when you want to do that, first turret gold is a really big, like you said, big deal. Again, if you contain your gold lead in one lane, that's only making your gold lead that strong. If you take your gold lead and go into the mid lane and affect that and deal extra damage to the mid lane, that helps your whole team out. That takes over more of the map. You get that mid turret, you get dragon control, you get objectives controls, you can just get vision control deeper into the enemy jungler. So yeah, you want to spread out your gold lead to help your others. And that's why we said for the exception, what we talked about first is that when you don't need to help others, like just continue smashing and making sure the other couple or single person cannot like catch up.
Yep.
Because there is catch up experience and stuff like that helps you like when you're behind. Not as much anymore. Is that correct? That is correct, right?
I think there is a little bit. If you're behind level, because the minions keep like, I think the minions have a level technically. So as the game goes on
more
farther,
experience.
if you're like farther behind, you're going to be gaining experience faster.
Yeah. They won't be gaining experience if they're dead, though.
No, they will not. The best form of CC is death.
Yeah. It's, fortunately not a finite death or an eternal death in this game. But whatever.
Maybe not, unfortunately, with the way some people play. Just keep giving gold to the enemy team. Every once in a while, you get that player that it's like, man, maybe it would have been better if they just died the first time and never came back.
Yeah. It's like, you can go ahead. We won't report you. You can just drop out of this game. We have no problem
just
with
stay
that.
On Fountain. We'll do better without you.
Oh, also another thing. If you're mid lane and you decide to do this, buy a Medjai's.
Yeah.
Because, yes, you don't get gold off of getting a kill. But when you have a Medjai, you get a ton of gold value from adding Medjai stacks onto you. So I actually used to do that when I played. First time I climbed out of bronze was when I started building this Medjai's on Kassadin when he was like super broken.
Yeah.
I just built Medjai's and never died, and I always ended the game with 20 stacks. At the time, it was max 20 stacks. And the only times I wouldn't end with 20 stacks is when we finished it before I could get 20 stacks. So
rest in peace, Sword of the Occult.
Yeah, oh yeah, on Pantheon, that was scary. Best, oh my gosh.
The best was doing Sword of the Occult Medjai on Akali.
And then you can get Leviathan. Do you remember that item? Were you around for that one?
I'm not even old enough for that one.
Do you know what that item does?
No, I actually don't.
It's basically the same thing except with health.
Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was they removed that one a lot sooner than they removed the other two.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I never used that
Sword
one.
Of the Occult, I mean,
but Sword of the Occult was definitely still a thing when I was playing.
That's funny. All right, so the next question or misconception comes from Brandon. The whole situation that he's setting up is you've died early to your enemy lane through a gank or otherwise. Misconception is that I need to make a big play against them to even the score. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this happens almost every game.
Yeah, for someone. And I'm guilty of it like every game.
Yep, me too. 100%. I'm guilty. I'm a very aggressive player, so if I get behind, it's not very likely that I'm gonna play like I got behind, which is a problem with my play because if you keep playing like you're not behind, you can give up even more gold really fast. It can snowball out of control.
Yeah, I think this one's an interesting one. Because I think there's an asterisk around it or above it. Just like the other ones, there's kind of two sides of the coin here. Someone like Alec here that's playing early game like Snowbally champions, really aggressive champions. If you fall behind early, yeah, that is a big deal because then you might not be useful. When your win condition is like, I'm supposed to win lane. If I don't win lane, that's a huge deal. So yes, actually, you do need to make a big play to even the score and to stay ahead or get further ahead. You need to. However, it's about how you make that big play. Like you're just saying, you have to play safer. You can't just go for the same trades. You have to wait for your jungler. You have to communicate to your jungler. You have to, just wait for them to accidentally step into turret range, or you need to bait out their summoner spell so then you could go back afterwards and then come back into lane with this power spike on gold and then like take advantage of that missing summoner spell. Like you have to make that big play against them, but you just can't do it like you're both 0-0.
Yeah, I think a big thing that I do that I think a lot of people can learn from is like I a lot of times will make the mistake of when I'm behind, like you said, still playing like it's even, and then like little trades and things that should help me while I'm even with a person actually hurt me when I'm behind. And it's like, oh man, it feels like I didn't misplay there. But it's like, yeah, you didn't misplay in that exact moment you traded. You misplayed 5 minutes ago when you gave up a kill, and now they have more items. So even though you played that last trade better, they had more damage or health anyways, so it doesn't matter that you played it like minutely better than them.
Yeah. This is such a tricky one. So, if you end up getting behind, let's see, what are some things that you're looking for to play that out?
I think one big one that you already said was summoner spells. People like summoner spells are a really big deal, and if they don't have a flash, they're like a immobile champion. Like a lot of times, if people are playing like a very squishy like carry or something, even if they're really ahead, if they get caught out, they're still squishy. They didn't gain any health or resistances from the amount ahead they are, right? So, say an Ezreal is really strong and you like now his arcane shift and like his dash is down and he doesn't have flash up. When your
Mhm.
support CCs him, he's still going to die just as fast if he's 0-0 or he's 5-0.
Yeah.
So finding those opportunities on those kind of champions is a big deal. Like hitting CC is really important. And when you see those kind of things like come up, like, oh shit, his flash is down, like, hey, jungler, get down here. Hey, let's jump on this. But then when his flash is up, like, don't overcommit to it because you feel like you have to kill him. You're like, oh, he's still squishy, like we have to kill him. And then he shifts away and he flashes away at the same time. And all of a sudden you're getting kited by an Ezreal whose Q is up every 2 seconds with Iceborne Gauntlet and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely like a very fine line, and it's so game to game because every champion's different. So you have to take
Mhm.
advantage of so many different power spikes and so many different like abilities. It's like it's hard to just generally say, "Oh, here's what you should do when you're behind."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Anything else to say about this one?
Um, I think the one big one is don't underestimate just staying alive. Uh,
Mm.
One, there's an AD carry player, Prismal. He's a challenger AD carry who streams on Twitch, and he's done some videos, and he talks a lot about how um, even when he gets behind, he'll end up with the same gold or more gold than the enemy AD carry because of how they spend their time after they're fed. They start always going for kills. They're always like being really aggressive, and they die 2 or 3 times, and it's like, oh, maybe that 2 or 3 deaths didn't lose them like huge objectives, but now he's still alive to farm a lane or farm jungle.
Yeah.
And he's slowly, after 3 to 4 deaths and a minute or two of death timer on this other person, he's slowly come back into the game. And he maybe never himself made an insane play to get to that point. So don't don't count yourself down and out, and don't overcommit to like things to get yourself killed later on, because you can't underestimate the amount of time like death timers count for. Like just
Yeah.
being up means so much.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because like, not only is your death timer, you have to travel from the base to do your thing too. So
Right.
there's that, and you could even if you're alive, you could back in a dying wave that'll get you like experience too. So like, there's so many ways you could be gaining something when you're not dead.
Yeah.
It's really really important. I think, yeah, I think
Yeah.
people will trade their life for something way too often. Like turret dive way too far to get that kill, and then die for it, and it might have been worth. But if you just like dove a little bit, they got away, you didn't flash and followed them, and you just lived, they had it back, and you could farm and take off like
Yeah.
third of the turret's health, go back, buy items, you still have your summoner spell for the next trade that you want to take, get a kill and a Drake and a turret or whatever. Like, you don't, the opportunity cost for dying can be very, very huge.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just going to use that buzzword, opportunity cost.
Opportunity cost.
It's the same thing with like you want a day off work and you think, oh well, when I take that day off work, I'm just gonna like be at home and chill, and like you feel like you're not really losing much. You're just having a day off of work. But you have to think about if you had been working that day, you would have gained however much money you get from a day's worth of work. So in reality, your opportunity cost was more than just getting the day off. You miss out on that money you could have gotten. And that's kind of like with League of Legends. Yes, you could have gotten that kill or made that big play, but you just lost out on objective control or minions and all these other parts of League of Legends that get you gold and get you leads.
Yeah. Or if you took that day off, you could have spent time with me in the early afternoons. And that time is priceless. So like the opportunity cost there.
That throws things off. You're ruining my analogy.
That's what I do.
That's what we're here for. Ruining analogies about League of Legends.
All right, next one. Ready to go for the next one?
Let's do it.
All right. So Brandon again, writes, wow, there's actually two Brandons in this doc. Oh, okay. Anyway, Brandon again writes, common misconception. It's the fifth person's fault we lost the 4v5. Yes. Yeah, so it's the fifth person that was missing in the fight in a 4v5.
Yeah.
It's their fault.
So you're a top laner, you're out farming, or you're pushing a wave, and all of a sudden your team dies in mid, and they're all like, oh, this Renekton, what is he doing out farming this lane?
Bing, 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 bing.
Why weren't you here for the fight? I'm sitting here. Listen, I pinged my teleports on a 20-second cooldown. Let me push one wave, and I'll come back for a team fight after that. If you just didn't engage, we wouldn't have lost anything. So
yeah,
it definitely, I think a lot of times players will, when they get into a 4v5 team fight, they'll get to the end of the fight and they'll be like, oh, why did we lost? And there's this glaring person on the map who's over here like, oh,
why aren't you a dead skull and crossbones icon on the mini map?
Yeah, it's like it's their fault. They weren't there. And it's like, well, this person actually pinged that they were going to farm that. And we wouldn't have lost anything if we waited for 30 seconds to a minute for them to farm and come back to the team and then fought then. So really, we should have been more patient.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got to get that one more poke off. Everybody's got to have a little bit more CS. And I can't tell you how many times I've lost a game where I'm like, I will group, just give me like 20 to 30 seconds. And if they had done that, nothing would have changed in that 20 to 30 seconds that was going to lose us the game. But people feel that they have to be doing something at all times.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that you kind of mentioned there, when something goes wrong, everyone is looking for something to blame. Like everyone needs a target, right? You see this in movies all the time. Like, oh, we need just someone to throw in the crosshairs about this topic. Someone needs to take the fall for this, That's just human nature. That happens. So when you guys die, you're like, it wasn't my fault. It was the Renekton's fault. Everyone pitchforks, And like that, again, that's human nature. That's fine. Just you have to realize that's going on. This question, there's so many different scenarios that can talk about this. And that's one of the things that I really like about this one, because sometimes it is that fifth person's fault, right? If you're the support, like let's say you're the Alistar and you're like, Baron is up. We have no wards. I'm the only one with a Sightstone. I'm going to go push bottom lane that's already pushing out, because most likely if you really ask, because you really don't have a good reason and you just didn't think about that. And again, I'm kind of calling people out when I've done this many, many times as well. So like, don't think I'm like, again, like holier than thou. But yeah, it's something you really have to be conscious about, because you also have to realize that even if that was correct, if let's say you're a Jax, right? And you build split push, you built Hydra and all this stuff, and you can 1v1 anyone on the enemy team, right? So you should be split pushing. That probably is the correct macro play.
Mm-hmm.
You still need to make sure that your team understands that. And that can be hard in solo queue. And you probably have to type it in chat. And then you have to cross your fingers and hope that got like through to everyone and then everyone's on board, right?
Yeah.
So that is a little scary.
There has been games where I've TP up as a split pusher, and in my head I'm like, if I was out split pushing right now and my team would just wait for me to get pressure somewhere, we could get a lot off of that, and I have TP in case something really goes down. If I make the decision, look, they're not going to play it safe. They're not going to do the play that I think is going to make this work, so I'm just going to stick with them, because this fight is going to go down whether I'm here or not, so I need to be here.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, this joke, and this is not like this is a wide known saying. And when we say this a lot on the podcast, when people like kind of misspeak a little bit, but like, oh, that's technically right. And everyone's like, oh, technically right is the best kind of right, yeah, technically you made the correct macro play, but you lost the game because your teammates are made the worst choice. So do you really want to be technically right, the best kind of right, or do you want to freaking win the game? What is more important to you, right?
Yeah,
If you want to be
right.
right, then go ahead and be right and keep losing your games, or do you want to like freaking win your games, you know? So this is a very painful thing for me as someone that I like to think I think a little bit more about this game and that my macro knowledge is much stronger than my micro capabilities. Um, it's hard to sometimes just dumb down my play. Again, I feel like I'm sounding like I'm better than everyone, but I'm not. But yeah, like sometimes you need to play the way the game is. You have to play with the game. Stop fighting against the current and just go with the current. And I think you'll win more often than you expect
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
To do a good sports analogy, since we always butcher sports here.
Yeah, those touchdowns in baseball. Yes, I love
Yeah.
them.
Imagine if, you know, it's fourth down for a football team and the wide receiver is like, you know what, we should really throw the ball here. If we throw the ball, we are going to get a first down and we're going to continue this drive. That's the right play. So when they
Uh-huh.
all line up after the coach has called a run play and they all run and the wide receiver runs out on a route and he's like, why didn't you throw me the ball? Like, I was wide open. While the rest of his team is like, you didn't block. Look how stupid this guy is over here. He didn't block at all. He ran a route when we're all doing a run play. Like,
Uh-huh.
that wide receiver, he might have been right. He might have run that route and got a good pass and he could have got the first down. But because his team played to the other thing, it just makes him look like an idiot. And now you just failed your team. Like, no one's going to be like, wow, this coach, I can't believe he didn't tell them to throw it to that wide receiver. That wide receiver is smart. No, they go, what was that wide receiver doing? Why was he out there? You know?
Yep. Yep. And then the wide receiver gets called for icing. It's just ridiculous. that's how this baseball game works, right?
Yes.
Yep.
The controversial new ice fields that they have put into football. 100%.
Yeah. One other thing I want to talk about that I'm like manipulating these questions so I get a rant about the things that I really want to talk about.
That's how it works.
You know what grinds my gears? No, so when you're setting this up as your split pusher is going off onto the far lane, right? And they're not knocking on the base, they're like getting the wave. They have like maybe 30 more seconds before their TP is up, like you said, or like 30 more seconds before they start hitting the turret and like really making the enemy team choose like how to play this out. If you're part of that 4-man group that is playing ARAM with that versus that 5, like don't step up and like start throwing hooks or don't step up and trying to poke people out. Like, no, you stay just a little further behind than you want to because they still have flash engages and what the enemy team should do is either send one person down or send 2 people down to deal with the split pusher, or they should just full engage on you and like your 4-mans and kill them. So stop playing. If you're the team of 4, stop playing like you're just as strong with them. You want to tease them to keep them there like interested and distracted, but you do not want to get caught because if you get caught, the split pusher is completely useless unless for some reason they can like just finish the game, right? So play it cautiously and like don't let people back. Sometimes you have to do like a crazy like flash play to like prevent someone from backing, but like really don't get caught and don't get aced. Like if that means like you're the 80 carry and support and you kind of see like your team go in, like kind of help, but once things look really bad, just run away because you still
just get out of there.
Need to be alive. Like don't just go all in on a 4v5 when you're setting up a play in bot lane for your Jax to split push. Like don't get caught and this, don't engage, especially don't engage.
Yeah.
Just don't get caught.
But I hit a really good hook. No, don't engage. Don't do it. It doesn't matter.
No.
And the other thing, this is a really good time when you're playing 4v5 against a team and you don't want to get caught. Put yourself in the shoes of like one of the engagers on the enemy team. Like you see that Amumu and you're like, oh, he's way too far away to hit a Q from there. But you think, oh, if I was him, I'd be looking for a flash Q over this wall right here. He's going to do that. 100% he's going to do that. Maybe he doesn't, but just have that in your mind that he's going to do that. So you say, okay, I am not going to get close to this wall at all because potentially he could flash over there and ult us immediately or Q us immediately. So even if technically he might not do that, I'm not going to put myself in a position to do that, because there's two zones when you're playing League of Legends against the enemy team. There's the immediate danger zone and there's the potential danger zone. And depending on if a champion has a dash or a flash, the potential danger zone is much larger than the immediate danger zone. But almost everyone plays against the immediate danger zone.
Yeah.
And if you're playing inside that potential danger zone, you can turn into part of the problem that loses your team the team fight, because you got hit by a flash Amumu Q because you wanted that one Q as Ezreal. And I'm guilty of this. It's so much fun as like Ezreal or Nidalee to be like walking up and throwing these skill shots out and like trying to hit them and trying to poke out the enemy team. But then all of a sudden someone flash engages on you and you're like, oh crap, there's nothing I can do here. They already caught me out. I already stepped in too far. There's no outplaying what they have me in now. I outplayed myself with my positioning.
Yeah, absolutely. You forgot a third zone. It's called the oh crap danger zone. When you're the Xayah on my team that flash forwards and then ult backwards in the middle of the enemy team. That is the oh crap danger zone. And thank you, Xayah, for that. She used her ult backwards twice in the game.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, oh. Like the first time I'm like, okay, that happens. I get it. Yeah. It's fine. Like, don't worry about it, man. It's okay. You'll get it next time. Then the second time I'm like, I'm gonna stop roaming with the Xayah and go help my top laner now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, really good, really, really good points. Also, if you've ever played like let's see, I'm trying to think of an example. Have you ever played those phone games or flash games, or like there's that Wario game where like you go to a stage, you have like 5 seconds and it's like pop 5 balloons, and you have to pop 5 balloons, and then like you have 3 seconds, and then the next stage you have another 3 seconds. It's like dodge the falling spikes. So like every time you enter a level, you have no idea what's gonna happen. Yeah, and it's like quick reflexes. The first time you do those, when you have no idea what's happening, you fail and you don't react. Yep. The second, third time, you know what's gonna happen. You anticipate it. You can react faster. Same thing with that flash. Like thinking about how they can engage. If you're like, my Zhonya's is up, my Zhonya's is up. Zed is missing. He might be over this wall, and he's gonna flash an ult on me. If I know that's probably can happen, when it actually does happen, you'll be fast. You just are faster to react at it. Yeah. There's this weird thing that Weldon Green talks about this in one of his Ask Weldon things, where if you actually play out an experience in your head, it's almost the same as actually experiencing it and practicing it, right? To get ready for something. So you're giving this like, it's another way to prepare yourself for situations. And so like, this is what he tells like pro players to like imagine like how the stage is set up, or imagine this play and practice in your head. Or even if you're sitting in champions, like this is how the first 3 levels are going to go. This is how laning phase is going to go. And you just play it in your head. Then when it actually happens, and you think about like ganks and stuff, when it actually happens, you're already prepared for it, because you've like faked your mind into already experiencing something that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So you just react better and quicker. So
yeah. And also,
science.
If you're pushing that thought process through before it happens, there's a difference, but thinking and having a thought process and then doing it takes time. And in League, like those seconds matter. So if you already thought, okay, the second that Amumu flashes over the wall, I'm going to flash backwards, and it's going to, it baited out his flash. You're already thinking that your flash is way faster. But if as soon as he flashes over the wall, you're like, oh crap, I need to flash. That's like a half second to a second you thought about that. And now he hit you with something and it's too late and you can't flash. And so like, it's always better to anticipate than react. And that's what League of Legends is as a whole. Like, it's a lot easier to outplay by positioning than by reaction time. You don't have to make an insane reaction flash and outplay that Malphite ult if you're just out of range of the Malphite. Like, there's no like, oh crap, I really need to outplay Malphite here if he literally never gets into range of it.
Yeah.
So like that's pretty extreme, but when you're fighting a 4v5 and you know that you don't want to fight, that's pretty easy to just say, okay, I am never going to get this close to them.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, I liked that one a lot.
Mhm.
No, I want to give another example of like because I want to pat myself on the back about this. So I was playing like Soraka. This happened a few times. So playing Soraka and Leona are the two things that I can remember. Lee Sin on the enemy team, he's pulled off a few insect plays. I'm like, okay, this Lee Sin is actually pretty good. He's really confident going into these fights. He's looking for my Fed like Jinx. I like know he's looking for her. We don't have vision, so I'm like ready for it. So because I already know this is Soraka, right when I see the ward drop behind my 80 carry, I just put down the silence field. So then Lee Sin comes in and is like, and like freezes there because he can't kick, and he's like wondering why his R doesn't work, and then we kill him.
Yep.
Or I played Leona and I'm like, I've been engaging and I realized like my win condition is to my 80 carry right now. So instead, I just sat on my 80 carry, and once I see Lee Sin comes in, I just stun him with my Q.
Yeah.
You know, and then like if I needed to, I would alt like the team that's also trying to engage on us. So that way, like because I was already prepared and knowing how to do it, knowing what could happen, like bam, it was so much easier to do it. It's like, huh, we just won this game because, and then Lee Sin looked really, really stupid and probably got flamed by his team. Like, why did you go in like into 5 people? Yeah, so that always feels good. Good job, Sam. Yeah.
Yay, Sam. Yeah,
yeah, I'm not
back to gold.
Really, I'm only bad, just not really, really bad. All right, we ready for it?
Go ahead.
We ready for another one? Or do you have something else? All right. We got another one from a different Brandon K. His misconception is if the jungler blah blah blah. If the jungler is farming 6 minions bot lane at 40 minutes while all other 9 players are at Baron, then blaming the team for not falling back from the Baron fight. Yeah, this is a
this isn't much of a misconception. This is just a misplay by a jungler in low elo, probably. And actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say low elo. I have junglers who do this in my diamond games. If you are a jungler, if Baron is up, bot lane is non-existent. There is no such thing as a bot lane anymore.
There is only 2 lanes.
There is top and mid, and most of the time you should be towards that Baron because that's a ton of gold, a ton of push power. Literally, entire games are thrown and won at Baron. So if you completely take yourself out of that equation and just give the Baron for free, you just want to lose. Let's just get real. You want to lose this game if you're bot lane as a jungler. You're giving.
Why do you like hurting yourself?
Yeah.
What are you punishing yourself for? We need to reconcile some stuff.
So that's like really ranty here. Just if you're a jungler and there is a Baron buff up, you are never bot lane unless there is like some insane 5v5 fight in bot lane that you absolutely have to get to. But then you should be running from mid or top to bot lane to get to that fight. Like, I don't know how many times I've rushed or gotten a Baron just because you're like, oh, hey, that's their jungler who just showed bot clearing. Oh, crap. Yeah, let's just do Baron. Like, we're just on Baron already. We might as well do it. Like, we were just, like, trying to clear vision, get vision of it so we can, like, set up for it later. But, oh, crap. Their Kha'Zix is bot lane just farming. Yeah. All right. Free Baron. Let's do it.
Yep.
So, just in the higher elo you get, like, it does get, like, people punished faster. But junglers still make that mistake in higher elo. And so, as a jungler, just, like, don't do it. I don't know. There's no
Love yourself.
real, like, misconception to this one. It's just, like, don't be bot lane if you're a jungler and the Baron is up.
Yeah. So, oh man, I've been trying to fit this into an episode and I keep forgetting or like I can't fit it in. So I'm going to take my time right now. So this is a little like bonus macro tip. Okay. I want to talk about this whole Baron control and like wave management. Okay. That just sounds like a huge topic, but I'm not trying to make it that big. The way bot lane should be played out after 20 minutes is the bot lane should always like be either like set up to push or a setup what is it called? A slow push. I really believe
Yeah.
this. Bot lane, people should not be bot lane when Baron is up, unless like, you know, you just don't have a Baron team, or like they don't have a Baron take team, like some odd reason. But really, people should not be bot lane, because once someone's bot lane, that gives top lane control, right? So
Yeah.
I think pre 20, there should be a lot of emphasis on pushing bot lane turrets and stuff like that, and keeping your bot lane turrets up. Then after 20 minutes, only person that should be allowed bot lane is like your top laner or mid laner that is carrying teleport,
Yep.
so that they can come to fights. And that, like, again, this is a really hard thing to pull off in solo queue, but I want people to think about this actually, because it's really stupid how many games you lose or win because, like, oh my gosh, we took a fight and by chance, because no one set it up, we won or lost the game because of this big minion wave bot lane or top lane or something. Like, no one's just paying attention to it. And it's just a flip of the coin. Is my wave in a good position or a bad position? Because I did nothing intentionally to affect that wave, at least thoughtfully affect that wave. So pre 20, emphasize bot lane and make sure that wave is always pushing out before you take a fight. And that doesn't mean you have to clear everything. Clear the casters and leave. That's it. Or even just do a lot of damage to the casters and leave. Like, don't worry about that CS, because the gold you get from like that 6 CS versus like losing the fight because you weren't there, and them taking Baron and them taking 2 turrets and then suddenly getting a lot of vision control and suddenly like catching up in the game, like that is not worth that 6 CS, right?
Yep.
So when Baron is up, again, always have that bot lane slow pushing so that you can go to Baron, because if you lose Baron, hey, your bot lane won't be pushed in, or at least they'll slow their push. Or, hey, we got that Baron, we got that Baron, and bot lane's pushing into turret, and then we can go top turret, and they have to split up their last 2 people that are left on their team to go bot and top. Right? So there's so many this whole Baron thing and wave management and that bot lane, it's like it bothers me so much, because so many people go to that bot lane when Baron's up.
Yeah.
When you're not supposed to, and people don't think about that bot lane when they need to go to Baron in a minute.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there anything you want to add to that?
I would even say, like, there's sometimes I've seen where it's like, oh god, there's like a 3-wave minion wave crashing into our turret. Like, I need to go get that. And then they do that, and then like they lose a Baron fight and they lose Baron, and it's like, oh shoot. But I had to go there. We would have lost our turret. It's like, no, you didn't. You could have lost that turret. That turret is less important than the Baron they just got. Like, you didn't misplay by not getting that wave when it was at the turret. You misplayed by not managing that wave 2 minutes earlier when it was built.
Mm-hmm.
So
and now you had to make a tough decision that's either bad or worse results.
Right. Yeah, you have to decide. All right, I guess we already misplayed that turret. We need to give that up while we go stop them at Baron. There's just no way to do that. And the other thing you'll notice that is a common theme with all these scenarios Sam is talking about, the junglers never bottom. Don't go bot as a jungler. Don't do it.
This is what pains me, because I've been playing jungle. I'm like, someone needs to go do it. I should go do that. And then I play this gambling game like, is the enemy team smart enough to know that I'm the bot lane or not? So then I'm like convincing myself, okay, I can go bot lane. And then they always go to Baron. I'm like, I think these guys are dumb. And like, okay, let's be real. I'm in this elo I am in for a reason. Not because I'm a lot better than everyone else. Okay. So like, I can't stop thinking that my enemies are dumb. Or the enemies are dumb, but I am as dumb as them. Okay.
Right.
So
everyone's dumb. That's the secret. And if you're a top or mid laner that can afford to go to the bottom lane during these time lates in the game, make sure you're doing it, because so many people, they tunnel on, oh, I'm the top laner. Every single time I come out of base, I run towards top lane. Or, oh, I'm the mid laner. I need to go back to mid lane, when everyone's just kind of sitting in mid lane and not doing anything. Go to bot lane, get your wave where you need to get it, and then all of a sudden the enemy team is in that situation of, oh shit, we're going to lose a turret bottom or Baron's up. Like, what do we do? Then you put the pressure onto them. So just don't go bot as a jungler. Just don't do it. I know you want to.
Bot lane is the worst lane ever.
If you have to so much record my voice saying don't go bot as a jungler and just loop it into your headphones as you're playing jungle.
Even better, get a video of him saying it, and like don't even get him saying it. Like crop his bottom like jaw out, and then just have him move up and down like a Muppet.
Oh no,
It'd be
sounds
great.
scary.
Someone please make that. Someone please make that. We'll make a soundboard and just use Alex's face, and then we can all fill in quotes for him.
Don't go bot. Don't go bot.
All right. So this last listener misconception that we have is from Greg. Another one from Greg. He says, misconception. It's always the jungler's fault. This one is actually true. It's always the jungler's fault.
Yeah, they went bot, so it's their fault.
They went bot. It was
Stop going bot while the Baron's up.
No, it was because the rest of his teams were stupid. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that one's funny. Yeah, a lot of people like to blame the jungler. I'm gonna turn this around into something actually useful for us. A lot of people call. So I play a lot of jungle, and a lot of people are pinging me to come help them. And it always makes me mad when they tell me to come help them, or like, you need to come bot. You haven't been bot all game, and I've been camped. I'm like, I have 3 kills. I just went top lane, got top turret, and I'm in the mid lane ganking right now. And you're complaining that I'm not helping you when my top and mid are now ahead. Like, I don't care that you're having a difficult time because we're winning this game. So just don't tilt.
You can't,
you know,
can't win every lane for him. And the thing that I always think about that will also help your own play is your jungler is not a necessity; it's a privilege. So
ooh,
play
I like that.
Play like you do not have a jungler. Play like
the
enemy
jungler
team has a jungler, and they're going to punish you, and you do not have one on your team, because you will be pleasantly surprised by how well you play when you think, okay, what are the ways that I have to deal with if their jungler comes and we don't have one? Because then if you're always thinking about the best way to play it when you don't have a jungler, when you do have the jungler come and help, it's going to be that much easier. And it's just like, you have to be able to, it's taking responsibility for your own actions. Yeah. Your jungler didn't force you to push your lane. Your jungler didn't not ward for you. Like, you didn't pay attention to the map. That's not on your jungler. So if like you get behind, it's not their job to baby you back up into a good spot. They might, like, that might just be snowballing the game harder if they focus too much on your lane.
Yeah. And also think about it this way too, like silver lining. The jungler is ganking your lane. If he is camping your lane and you aren't prepared for it and you're not losing your life and not like losing too much out of it, congratulations. That jungler probably has not got that much out of that gank. The laners didn't get that much out of the gank, and they're focusing on you. That means your bad team, quote unquote, bad teammates now have an advantage because they don't have to worry about a stupid enemy jungler ruining their lane, and they can actually potentially finally win their lane because your top laner and mid laner never win the game. That's good. You are pulling the jungler because you are doing something, and if you succeed in pulling the jungler without losing something, you have gotten a huge advantage for your team. So you are doing more than your share of work for your team playing it that way. So it's like type in all chat like, haha, you suck. Or like, haha, waste your time more, jungler. Yeah, don't say anything that'll get you banned. I'm just kind of kidding.
Yeah.
But seriously, like, this is good for you. If you're being camped, that means like my bad teammates have less to deal with and they can be a little better now.
Yeah.
Like that's a really big deal. Who is it? Apto, he is known as like potentially one of the best players if he actually played competitive. He's a Korean player that got banned from competitive, but he plays, I think, in China.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was Mid Beast. I think he does like reviews of his games. Often. Yeah, okay, so that was him. And he talks about the way that Apto plays his game is that he loves to draw jungle pressure. And he like puts his wards down at the right spot so that he could see when the jungler comes. So he always wants them to come because he's always pushing and then always making sure that he has a way out, because he wants the jungler to waste time coming to him, trying to kill him, because he is ready for it. He knows how to deal with it. And now he just like gave everyone a buff on his team by pulling jungle pressure and getting a kill or getting a double kill or just like wasting their time.
Yeah. There are so many games I would have won if a lane just didn't feed. They didn't need to win their lane. They didn't even need to not die a couple times. They could even die a couple times, but just not feed because they overextend over and over again. And all of a sudden, when I'm in top lane, all of a sudden the jungler comes out and I'm like, holy shit, this Lee Sin's like 5-0. And he's like one-shotting me before I even have a chance to fight. And it's like, wow, if my, like, I had a Kog'Maw once who was 0-10 on my team.
Man, and you look like you're already having a migraine thinking about this.
This game was bad. And he was trying to say it was our jungler's fault later in the game because he got camped. I don't care how much you get camped, 10 deaths is never excusable. I could have taken him 0-3, 0-4, and I would have been like, yeah, getting camped sucks, but like I got ahead in top lane because there was so much pressure bottom.
Yeah.
But he died so many times it made the game almost unwinnable for us. And he tilted off the face of it, and then he blamed our jungler. And it's like our jungler was helping mid and top, and if you guys wouldn't have died so many times, we could have like worked off of this. We could have just like, and don't flame people for dying to ganks either, because that is the point of ganks, and people are going to die to ganks. Try to build them up, because dying to 1 or 2 is going to happen. You die to ganks too, like everyone does. It's the people who that when they tilt and then they keep dying, that's what loses you the game, when they are just not even playing to win anymore. So you like, dying is going to happen. That is a part of the game.
Yeah. I want to also say from a jungler's point of view as well, you got camped. You died twice to a gank. Why would I, as a jungler, want to go to your lane where you're behind the enemy mid laner, and I am now probably behind the enemy jungler? Why do I want to find that 2v2?
Yeah.
Like, do we win that?
No.
Most likely no. Maybe we need to make a big play. Maybe we need to find a big advantage, and we can win that. But what incentive do I have to roll the dice on potentially having that happen when I could go make sure that I have my farm so I can be a good tank in the jungle, or I can gank top lane and get like my snowbally Riven of head, or go bot lane or secure Rift Herald by myself? Like, why should I go help you if you're getting camped? Because that just means we all are gonna die, and we're gonna make them further ahead.
It's like you're going out to the store and you're like, man, I really want something to drink. And you see that one convenience store on the left is getting robbed and there's a gunman in there. And the other one, there's just, it's just a store. And you think, what, I feel like a challenge today. And you walk into the convenience store and you end up getting shot. And it's like, wow, how did that happen? It's like, well, there was a robber in there and you already knew that, but you went anyways, trying to force that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, maybe you'll end up wrestling the gun from him and like saving the day, but probably you won't. So just go to the other one, get a drink, and you're not as big a hero, but you got what you needed.
Man, I don't know how I morally feel about this example.
Listen, you can't be a hero every day, okay?
Yeah. It's okay. They'll respawn.
preserve life.
Yeah, that shopkeeper will respawn. No worries. No big deal.
There's already 3 bullet holes in his chest. Like, what are you going to do about that?
You don't want to get a 4th in his chest. You going into that convenience store is going to get him shot again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that is it for our listener questions. And I had one, but I'm going to save that for a later date because I like these misconceptions. I wonder if our community can think of more. If you guys have more, post them in our Facebook group so we can cover these. These are fun. If you guys have any other ideas for future episodes, that is awesome too. I know I posted on our Facebook page. If you haven't checked that out, we got like 200 likes on it finally, which we have more than 200 people listening to the podcast, but Facebook page got 200 likes. Huge milestone. We're doing a mystery skin giveaway. So if it's not too late, I'll probably do it like at the end of the year, and I'll give away like, basically if you comment on it, giving feedback about the podcast or like future ideas or things that you want to see the podcast doing and the community doing, like let us know, and you have a chance to get a mystery skin. And there's not that many people commenting yet. There are a good amount, but the more people that comment, I don't want to give a set number because I don't know how many, but I will give more mystery skins away. I won't just give one if there's like 20 people. Maybe like every 10 I'll give like a mystery skin away. So don't quote me on that though. I don't know how out of hand it could get. That being
This
said,
is
go
not
check
a
our
binding contract.
Yeah. By the way, there's a Facebook page and a Facebook group. Two different things. Facebook page is basically like we created it so we could communicate with our fans, but it's more of a one-way communication where we tell you stuff like, hey, we posted this thing, or hey, this is on a YouTube channel, or like, hey, community games are tonight, those kind of things. And then there's a Facebook group, which is like a chat room where everyone can get together and just talk, and it's more casual where anyone can post and it'll be visible and stuff like that. So check out both of them, but go to our Facebook page if you want updates and like not retweets, but like we share some stuff like Riot videos and just things that we find useful and stuff like that. So
plays.
LOLA plays are posted on there too, which have been really popular on that as well.
They have been.
Yeah. So check that page out. Help us celebrate by liking and commenting on that post if you would like to have a chance to win a few mystery skins and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't know if I have any other announcement. Oh, community games are super, super awesome. If you are interested in helping us cast or help like work community games, that would be super, super appreciated. We do those on Wednesdays at 8 Central. Usually, lately it's been me and Worm casting, except yesterday I flaked on Worm because I got food poisoning. So that was really fun.
Solo casting is interesting, so we're always welcoming of other casters.
Maybe the next time I have to do a solo cast, I'll do it like a split personality. I'll pretend I'm Blake. This will be fun. I'll pretend I'm Blake.
Pretend to be an asshole.
And like make fun of Blake as I cast. And then I'll cast as myself as well. That could be really fun.
That could be a lot of fun. But yeah, don't be shy to ask about casting, because literally we're not that good at it either. I just started casting with like doing the community games and stuff like that. We just have fun with it, and it's just a way to. I don't know about you, but like I like going back and watching those games when someone has actually talked about a little bit about it. It's interesting to see what other people think of how you're playing, and you can learn a lot from it.
Yeah, we're not just being like awesome LCS shoutcasters and giving like some cool tips and stuff like that. We're actually like talking. We cast to be entertaining, and we cast to like help the people in the game to be able to look back and be like, oh, my build wasn't that efficient and they think I should have built this way. Or it's like, oh, that was a really good flash. Unfortunately, it went wrong because they didn't have vision here and stuff like that. We try to give constructive criticism and useful feedback on those games without ripping on people too hard. The only time we rip on people hard is because like Blake's playing in it or I'm playing in it, or we're just having fun with people that we actually know.
Yeah.
But community games are a really good time. We are not going to have an official community game next week as it is the holidays. Or I shouldn't say next week because it depends on when you're listening to this. But Christmas is on the 25th, obviously, which will be, I think, the release date of this episode. So Merry Christmas, everyone. If you're listening to it. You should not be listening. Go spend time with your family.
No, this is a great Christmas gift. Listen to this. Show your whole family. It's family friendly, we swear.
But the 27th, that following Wednesday, and maybe even the 3rd. Okay, no, I take that back. 27th, we're not going to have official community games. That being said, anyone that's available, go ahead and come. And we probably won't make an organized 5v5 unless someone actually starts a 5v5. So I know like Clarkin has like just made custom games and like took the initiative for it. I personally might not be able to. I don't know Worm and like everyone else's schedule. But I'm going to try to show up for that night and just hang out. Maybe we'll play, I don't know, is All Random, All Earth on? All Random Earth going to be done?
It's up. I don't know if it's definitely up. I just don't know if you can do custom. So maybe if there's only like 5 you guys can do
like
Earth.
Not a custom, just play. Just play games with people and stuff like that. So hopefully it'll be just a good hangout time. If people want to play 5v5s and we have enough people show up, we'll do that. But nothing official for community games. But show up if you're going to be around. And then besides that, I think we'll start it up with the new year of 2018. Holy crap, I can't believe it's going to be 2018.
I know, right? New year, new podcast.
Yeah, a new podcast, yeah. Yeah, you doing that?
Oh
Yeah, we
no,
are.
I'm just taking over. The whole hosting thing.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. That's
the
right.
League of Worm Laxative Podcast. Yes,
Oh
that's what
dear
we're gonna.
God, getting information in and out of you real quick.
We just pump it right out, and don't even worry about those anonymouses. I don't know what happened to them. No need to check in the closet.
Apparently, people think those are wings, and I'm like, okay, they kind of look like wings, but they definitely look like antlers if you actually look at them. People,
Yeah,
like, let's be real.
they're antlers, but I think the anonymous tag hasn't been used quite a while in an episode. So if you're a newer listener, you do have a tagline as a listener. You are one of the anonymouses.
Anonymouses. I hate that word moose because plural and singular is the same.
Anonymous.
Like, why not call them meese? I know it sounds stupid, but goose and geese. Come on, people. Come on, English.
Shoot, I actually just saw someone posted on like Twitter or something like that recently. They were like, I just realized why they don't do it moose and meeses, and they like
Wait, are you serious?
Had a whole explanation. Yeah, I can't remember what it was though.
Oh, well, I just had a really angry rant that makes me look really stupid and ignorant now. if what you're saying is true.
It's okay. That happens a lot, Sam.
Yeah, it does. I'm like, no, Evelyn is AD.
Obviously. Whoops. Yeah, everyone play Evelyn AD. Better version. 100%. No lies.
Yep. It's my pick of the week. Yeah, so besides that, yay. Merry Christmas, everyone. And from everyone else that is not here on the podcast, everyone's kind of busy with Christmas stuff. So apparently Alec and I are the only ones without a life.
Very true. Very true.
But Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year's. And to the next year, if you guys, again, I would really, really appreciate feedback on that Facebook post. Maybe we'll put out a survey or something because we want to make every year, every month, every episode a little better. So, and the community grow a little more so we can do awesome stuff and do more things. So, yeah, hype. And with that, I think that's it, right? Can I close this out? Do you want to close us out? Do you want to steal Blake's outro?
I don't want to steal. I want to just say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy whatever you're celebrating. Hope you have a good one. Hope you're enjoying family company and play a lot of League.
Play a lot of League. All right. So that is it for episode 170 of the LOLA podcast. We will see you guys next week.